Most Americans get excited about Independence Day or New Year's, but there are many days that appeal to specific segments of our society. This may be the occasionally confusing but often interesting result of being a nation of immigrants, where language, race, religion, ethnicity, and political perspectives of most people is in agreement. There's little difficulty in identifying the important holidays and other public ceremonies. Many places in the world have such cultures, but America does not fit this description. Our diverse collection of religious, national, and ethnic communities has meant there are large numbers of people on any given day who have something to memorialize or celebrate. One of those unofficial holidays that has grown to have wide appeal is St. Patty's Day. It's a day celebrating a Catholic saint from the Emerald Isle, but it has been part of the culture so long that many people enjoy it. St. Patrick is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland, so his day has deep religious and historical roots in Ireland. In its Americanized version, it is somewhat different. The Irish came to America in two large waves. The earliest wave originated more from North Ireland and Scotland. In the period before and right after the American Revolution, about 300,000 Scot-Irish arrived at different ports in the colonies, and many found their way into the Appalachian Mountains. My own ancestors are from both North Ireland and Scotland and arrived in this wave. This is not how St. Patrick arrived in America. A second, much larger wave of Irish was generated when potato crops in Ireland failed in the 1840s. Potatoes had been imported to Ireland during the 17th century and were important to sustaining what had become a large population. The population halved in a few years as famine followed potato blight. Many people fled to America and brought St. Patty with them. The Irish felt especially strongly about the slithery crawlers. Fortunately, there are no snakes in Ireland. St. Pat gets credit for driving them into the sea, which would certainly have endeared him to the Celtic pagans he was trying to convert. The Irish Catholics settled more in the cities of the north, while Scotch-Irish Protestants were often among those headed west to the frontiers. My original Darty ancestor paused briefly in Baltimore, Maryland, before heading for what became the mountains of West Virginia. The presence of the later Irish in big cities, politics, government, work like policing and journalism ensured that they made a significant cultural impact. It was not always easy, particularly when the Irish were impoverished immigrants. Nevertheless, the wearing of the green and an appreciation for leprechauns made its way into mainstream culture after a few decades. In the process, many traditions became quite different from those in Ireland. This second wave, originating in a society centered almost exclusively on one church and one ethnicity, Irish Americans adapted to a culture with many religions, races, and ethnicities. Early Irish were often confronted by signs making it clear that they need not apply for certain jobs or housing advertisements. During the Civil War, the new poor immigrants were often swept up for service in military units. Draft riots in several cities resulted in many deaths, so it was not always easy. Part of the price of integrating into mainstream society was a reduction in focus on Catholicism. The bar or pub became more emblematic of Irish culture than the church. Some aspects of Irish culture continued to be pretty similar to those in Ireland. A respect for the advantages of good luck, little men able to grant wishes, and the occasional pot of gold lingered. Hollywood did their share to construct this new Americanized version of the Irish. Along the way, they made a number of very entertaining, if not particularly fact-based films.
Brian, me old boy, oh, I've got you at last.
Two of my favorites are The Quiet Man and Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Many others had Irish themes, but are now rather loosely tethered to reality. Many elements of Irish culture simply weren't present in the New World or were not affordable to the poor working class Irish. Really good beer, for example. American beer until very recently was often better known for quantity than quality. How to celebrate an Irish holiday without Guinness or some similar stout? Well, why not dye the beer green? No one in Dublin would consider this, but across America, tubs of green dye dilute the Paddy's Day beer every year. It's no longer needed. Americans can now make good beer, but green beer continues to be popular. Speaking of green dye, would you consider dyeing a perfectly good river green? In Chicago, they do it every year on March 17th for St. Paddy's Day.